My name is Lara Afont. I'm a senior and I go to Ronald Reagan.
So, first question. What happened that made you realize that you needed our service?
It was when I realized that my own studying wasn't gonna be enough. And it was when I realized okay, I'm putting in all this work into school and extracurriculars and stuff. The only thing that's gonna be weighing me down is my SAT score. And my own studying wasn't doing enough. Like there was something I was missing. So then my mom reached out and it was a great decision.
When you say your own studying, can you expound on that a little bit? Like, how are you trying to study?
All I would do is watch videos of people completing the SAT and practice exams. Because when it comes to studying by myself and stuff, I'm not I'll procrastinate it and I can't stay on top of my stuff. So that was what I needed help with. And you guys definitely kept me on my stuff. Yeah. It was really worth it.
And how about, because we know we are a math tutoring company. So, what was your situation in math before you started the prep?
All throughout school, I've always been stronger in reading compared to math. My thing has always been reading. So reading always came easier to me. And math was where it took a lot of effort for me to do good. And also since I'm taking such advanced math classes that honestly I don't even know what's going on in them anymore. It had been a long time since I'd seen algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry. So I had completely forgotten the math on the SAT. So I knew I needed to go back and basically relearn everything.
What math class were you in?
Right now I'm in Cambridge A level pure mathematics and statistics. Yeah. That's the name. When I open my gradebook, that's what it says.
Yeah, no, I said, oh my gosh, because I know it's not IB, it's the ACE, right? Or what's
Yeah, ACE.
Yeah. So I know that with that, and even IB has these weird math classes. I mean,
Yeah. I have no idea what's happening, at all.
was that a similar math class you were in before our prep course?
Yeah, I started with you guys summer going into senior year, and junior year was just the AS. So it goes AS level of the Cambridge math and then A level. So I was in basically the same math as I'm in now.
And how'd you end up finding us?
Because my mom works at a school, and one of her coworkers, her son worked with you guys. So that mom put my mom on, and then my mom reached out.
Were there any hesitations about doing the course at first?
I mean, I remember telling you oh, it's gonna be a lot of work, and that was basically what was holding me back the most, which I'm sure that's what everyone like thinks and asks you at first too, oh, how's the workload? And it's heavy. I'm not gonna lie, it's heavy. You know it's heavy.
It is.
But that was the only thing. And also because it was it was summer and I wanted to enjoy my summer, and I was scared that with studying with you guys, I wouldn't have a lot of free time, but I definitely had free time. I was literally on vacation while I was doing my homework and stuff like that. You guys were pretty lenient with that.
You just figure it out.
Exactly. You just make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I tell people. It's how bad you want. It worked out.
It did. It was, yeah. At the beginning, it was oh, shoot, this is a lot. And then towards the end, I was oh my God, when is this going to be over? How much is left? But at the very end, it was completely worth it. I felt so confident going into the SAT.
What about the virtual group learning experience? What were your expectations towards that?
I just kind of imagined that it would be similar to when I was doing online school with quarantine. And it was, I'd say that it was better than school on Zoom, my school classes, because you guys were it was long hours too. It was 4-hour classes, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot, but you guys were leaning about the breaks and stuff. And it was, even though it was a group session type thing, you guys would always make it one-on-one, through all of us sending the teachers an answer privately. They could tell us oh, Lara, you got this wrong, and they would keep helping us until we got it right. With online school, it was just kind of give you an assignment and that was it. You worked it out yourself. But you guys were very independently helping us too, even though it was a group session.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made sure you didn't slack.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We can't, I mean, I get it. It's virtual, so it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well,
Yeah, it's really easy to slack. It was so easy for me to like slack off like with online school. I would literally just like sleep through half of my classes. But with this, like you guys like staying on top of us, not in a bad way at all. Like we needed that. Like the reason people signed up for like your classes and stuff is because we needed someone on top of us to
right.
make sure we were getting the studying done. And you guys definitely did that.
And so ultimately, what was the result that we got for, or that we helped you get?
A 700 in math, which I was so surprised. I literally went into the SAT and I said, okay, my goal score is a 1350 altogether. And I got exactly a 1350. Like exactly a 1350. Because like how I said earlier, like I always wanted to try to apply to UF, but my SAT score wasn't there. And the SAT is like a big thing that colleges look at. So I was like, I need to strengthen my SAT score before I even felt like, okay, I might have a chance of getting in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once I improved my score, I was like, okay, like I have a pretty good chance of getting into my dream school now. You know what I mean?
And did you?
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I did. Dude, I cried when I opened the acceptance because like all my friends were telling me like, oh, they came out. They're telling me like if they got in or not. I was like, oh shoot. So I was honestly, I was expecting like a rejection, to be honest. But I saw like the confetti and the congratulations. I didn't even read the rest of it. I just like started crying like right there.
So, what advice would you give other students?
I would say, well, I got you. Definitely study with piece of pie, number one piece of advice. But also like you have 3 tries at the SAT. We have endless tries, but normally everyone does like 3 times. So don't get discouraged. Like if you didn't do as good as you expected the first couple times because you can always try again. So don't get discouraged and only use like when you don't do as good as you expected to do, only use that feeling to motivate you to do better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
use that as like fuel to study and make the effort to get the score that you want.
Right. Because it does take effort.
Yeah, it took a lot of effort, but yeah.
But at the end, it was worth it, right?
It was very worth it. Yeah. Just thank you guys. Like I going into the SAT, I had always been like, oh, like I'm gonna screw over in math, like I'm not gonna do good. But like the last SAT, the third SAT, when I got the 700, I went into it being like, okay, like I got this. Like I've studied every single one of these questions. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Every time people tell me this stuff, I'm just like, I don't even know what to say, bro. I'm just like, I'm just happy. I'm glad. I'm glad. But you did the work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you always did your homework. So, and at the end of the day, it's like, for the most part in our program, as long as you do the work,
Yeah, you're gonna do good.
yeah.
Like, because you guys have mastered like what questions need to be covered, how to study them. You guys know what you're doing.
I hope
Definitely.
so.
Definitely.
Oh shit. All right. Man, that was good. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So I went up from a 570 to a 700, improving 130 points in total, thanks to Piece of Pie.